What's up, everyone? You are listening to Wake Up Naked. I am your host, Esme Leon. We're going in deep into ourselves. We're going to be talking about ideas and concepts and things that have the potential to actually change our lives. So get excited, get ready, and what are you waiting for? Come over here and get naked with me. Hey, what's up, team? You are here listening to Wake Up Naked. I want to remind us today that opinions are like buttholes. Everybody has them, just some are more smellier and hairier than others. Okay, why am I saying this? I'm saying this because sometimes we have a gut instinct about something, and everyone is always going to have a different opinion. You could make a choice about something, and you're going to have a third of the people that are going to say, wow, you're a rock star. That's amazing. Go for it. And then you're going to have another third of the people that are going to be like, whoa, are you sure? Have you really thought this through? It's kind of dangerous. And then you're going to have another third of people that don't even give a damn, right? So my point is that everybody has booty holes. And sometimes, isn't it true that people offer up their buttholes without you even asking them? You haven't even said, hey, I want your opinion. But then, boom, there it is, someone with their opinion. Now, I do want to retract a little because this is important. If we keep getting the same feedback, and I'm a big believer in self-growth, self-development. So if I keep getting the same feedback from, let's say, a coworker gives me a feedback, and then I go and I talk to my sister and she gives me the same feedback, and then I meet someone and then a couple weeks into our friendship they give me the same feedback. That is a golden nugget. Those are opinions that, okay, doesn't mean you have to take them to heart, doesn't mean anything other than like, oh, it's interesting. That keeps coming up in my life. So I'm not saying that all opinions from everyone in the world don't matter. I'm all about growth. So if I keep seeing these patterns, I'm going to pay attention and say, okay, I keep getting it from all these different people in all different areas of my life. Maybe there's something in here for me to examine. That's the thing, team. We have to learn to reflect and then still make a choice based on our gut. Because let's say someone says something about you and you really like that thing about you, then what are you going to do? I think at the end of the day, you own it. You own it, or you say, hey, you know what? Maybe they are right because I've been hearing this repetitively, so I want to grow and I don't want to be that. So that's where the self-growth can come in. But I'm talking about just the opinions that can be found everywhere, just like buttholes. They can be found everywhere. That's the thing that I don't want us to take on. I don't want us to wear, because again, we're intuitive, creative beings. And sometimes we know what's right for us, but then people show up with their opinions and it can accidentally make us feel doubtful or swayed us in some way. And I want us to become confident and anchored and start to really trust ourselves when we feel something is really, really right for us. I'll give you an example. And this is bringing me to my second point that's important. There are so many variables. Someone can give you an opinion, but there's so many variables to how they have lived their life that oftentimes people, without meaning to, they project their own life and their own fears and their own thing onto you, which becomes their opinion about whatever you're doing or not doing, but it's all based on their life. And the reason why that's really hard is because there's so many variables as to how they live their life that is so different from what you're living that it's really hard to take someone's opinion and make it your own, because they haven't walked the same road that you have. They haven't experienced everything in the degree that you have experienced it. We all have such unique roads and journeys. So I'll give you an opinion. It is an opinion and an example of someone that came up to me and gave me their butthole without me even asking for their butthole. But, you know, what are you going to do? People are going to offer up their buttholes all the time. So you're just going to have to be okay with that and not get mad about it. But this person came up to me and said, you're overtraining. They didn't even ask, hey, what do you do for your rest days? How many days do you rest? What do you do for recovery? They didn't ask those questions that I think are important if you are going to accuse me of overtraining. No, they just straight out said, you're overtraining. And I said, okay, what is overtraining? And this is not something that I talk to them about because, again, it's their opinion. It's their butthole. I don't have to interact with it. I don't have to smell it. I could just be like, okay, thank you, but no thank you. I will pass on your butthole. Now, the reason why I say that is because they offered it up. And what overtraining is that you're doing too much for your body and you should back off. And what I go back to is, okay, you look at me train, and what is hard for you might not be hard for me. So it's all relative, it really, really is. So he can look at me and say, wow, like all those things that you're doing, it's too much on your body. But I have a different body than him. I do a different recovery than him. For sure, I do. And so what's hard for me might not be hard for him. And what's hard for him might not be hard for me. So this is just an idea that he's cultivated in his head about what's hard. And then he looks at me and says, whoa, she's training really hard. She's overtraining. But that's his opinion. And that's relative to his body. He thinks it's hard because if he does 100 push-ups, that might be hard for him. It's not hard for me. So he can't accurately say that I'm overtraining. Now, another thing is that he didn't even take into account my recovery or what I do to recover or the fact that I foam roll for 20, 30 minutes before every workout and that I always stretch after my workouts. Does he do that? Maybe, maybe not. The point is there's so many variables. And I'll say this about another older person that his body is full of aches and he's like, just be careful. And again, he's coming from a good place. I'm not saying sometimes when people offer their opinions that they're not coming from a genuine place. They could very well be. But he said, he's like 60 plus and he's like, everything hurts and the things that you do, you're going to end up like me. And I say, okay, thank you for sharing. But again, I go back to variables. I have no idea how he lived his life. For example, he could have been a huge cokehead in his 20s. He could have abused drugs for 20 years of his life. I don't. So that's a huge variable in how your body's going to feel when you're 60, right? He also admitted that he used to train doubles all the time, that he would go to the gym twice. I don't do that. So for him to assume that I'm going to end up the same way as him just doesn't make any sense. This goes back to opinions are just like buttholes. Everybody has them, but we don't have to take them on every single opinion. I'm going to conclude this episode by reminding us that there are some opinions that we should take into account, but a lot of the times we're taking on and believing too many opinions from too many people. Sometimes people that we don't even respect, but they give us our opinion and you're like, oh my God, am I? So this is just a friendly reminder that yes, there is room for growth when you keep hearing the same feedback and people are offering some opinions that seem to be a pattern for you. That is a good thing for you to reflect on. And then you can draw your own conclusion about what way you want to act or not act. But overall, there are just so many people with so many opinions that you can't take them all on for yourself. And understand, for me, this is the most important part. There are too many variables in life. There just are. And the way you've lived your life is completely different than what I've done. And the tiny things, like if you abuse drugs for 20 years of your life, maybe the overtraining that you think you did wasn't the thing. Maybe it was the drug abuse. I don't know. And so my point is none of us know. So when someone's offering up their opinion, it's just on their life and the way they've lived it. And we've all lived it so differently that it's hard to compare. It's really, really hard to compare, which is why when next time someone gives you an opinion about you, take it in. But if you know in your gut that's not true for you, just say thank you for sharing. You don't even have to say it to them. You can say it in your head. Thank you for sharing. Team, don't wear other people's opinions on you. When someone offers you their butthole, you can decline. You can say, no, thank you. I will not smell your butthole. Moving on. And other buttholes that you like, go in. Okay? I hope you guys all have an amazing day. I'm rooting for you. And that's all. That's a wrap, folks. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you got as much out of that as I did. If you have not hit the subscribe button, make sure to go back and hit subscribe and keep coming back. Team, we are going to the top and I will see you there. I'm out.